useful part of Tor is hidden service, because you've been able to do proxy chains forever, you know, but you haven't really been able to have like a stable single point where you've been able to serve illegal data up until now with, you know, with redundancy and with built-in, you know, whatever, you know. What was I saying?
Talk about Tor.
Oh yeah. So to make a Tor hidden service, you generate a key. You know, you generate a key pair, and your URL for Tor is your key fingerprint. So if you ever get your box seized, you can just move that key to another box and start up your Tor hidden service, and you're back serving again, which is quite awesome. I really love this. What else is going on via Tor hidden service? There are a number of forums now where you can buy and sell virtually anything. The assassination market that Timothy May, you know, envisioned all those years ago is now on Tor hidden service. It's a great thing. You could buy and sell drugs, illegal weapons. I mean, what? At 0 day, you know, you can buy credit card numbers in bulk, identities, and it's all been running for several months now and stable and in a single place. And I think as time goes on, this is going to be, you know, a great thing for the free market, and we're just going to be able to do whatever we want. You know, we don't have to hide out anymore and act like we're not black hats, you know, because there's really no way we can get caught. The latest hip shit for botneting has been to make private onions. Tor has a directory server, and that's where the Tor's directory server is where all the list of nodes, like the entrance nodes and the exit nodes, are. The directory servers serve this. So you can specify your own directory server and sort of, you know, set up your own Tor. And Tor is pretty much, I wouldn't trust the main Tor as far as I can throw it, because, you know, there's only less than 1,000 active entrance and exit nodes any time, and if you get an entrance and an exit node, you could, you know, apply the key of the exit node to the entrance node, and, you know, so if someone subverts the entrance node and the exit node, they can, you know, auto-correlate and track who's posting what. But if you build your own Tor, then you can have, you know, an average size like botnet is, you know, 30,000. You know, that's minimum what it takes to be even hope to be profitable. So if you create your own private Tor, then you can trust that a lot more than the public one. So you make your own directory server, but you put it as a hidden service on the public Tor. So it's dynamic, it's redundant, it's got built-in redundancy. You know, if the box gets seized, you hack some other box and install this hidden service directory server on it, and you can just keep this up indefinitely and really never shut down your botnet command and control. I hope all of you will in the future abuse zero-day vulnerabilities to build your own botnets. It's a great activity. Now next is user rustling. This is another thing that is probably illegal, but you can get away with it and nobody will prosecute. Is you can use, you know, cross-site scripting attacks or something. You can take one, you know, Web 2.0 service users and divert them to another service, and this service will pay you good money for stealing this other service's users, and you can pretty much approach anyone, get them some hookers, whatever, and they'll definitely do business with you. All these tech companies are super shadesters. They don't care. I mean, they just want to make money, you know, and the dollar rules everything. So that's pretty much, you know, the goal here is I think internet crime has to be self-sustaining. We have to be able to fund it, you know. But money is not the end goal. Like we're not the same as corporations here. I mean, really, when you look at the government and what's going on, you know, you have the choice of, you know, refusing to acknowledge it, just sort of brainwashing yourself and just accepting it, or you can fight it, and you typically go to prison. But I've chosen to become an absurdist and just break whatever I want, because that's really the best thing you can do.
You're fucking rambling.
I know. I'm tripping pretty hard. So China, I think, is a perfect example of the oppressive government model that the U.S. really wants to enact on their internet. You know, I mean, we've got this network neutrality stuff, and eventually, you know, all the telcos are going to be man in the middle in our SSL connections, and there's nothing that we can do about it, you know, unless we build a set of backbones. So eventually, some ISPs are choosing to block BitTorrent or it's this service or this service. Eventually, the internet's going to be whittled down to where it's a distribution model only for data that's friendly to the corporate regimes at large. So we've really got to do as much as we can to get this done. Now China of course, has their great firewall, and they block, they block keywords. If you say something, about a past political event in Square or something, then they'll stop dropping your packets. And this is an obvious denial of service attack to anyone that lives in China or does business there. But the greatest thing, this effect, by the way, was first discovered by Snake of that Hackers XSS blog, which if you like breaking web apps, I really recommend reading that. It's good stuff. It's ha.ckers.org. It's good stuff. I'd like to plug that. The interesting thing about this is the interesting thing about this is someone started recognizing that you could get routers to block the traffic of other routers by sending them packets with banned words in them. Now, you can also get routers to block their own traffic, which is pretty funny. So this, and this isn't really a smart thing because certain protocols stop working very well if routers can't communicate to each other. Very obviously is BGP. And so what you do is you send a couple packets to any of these Chinese routers, and let's say that router is responsible for this AS number and announcing these IPs. So you hold down that router, and then you take over another router somewhere else, and you announce those. And as long as it's closer to the backbone than the router that you took out, then you will be announcing those IPs, and they'll route immediately. It's a common misconfiguration thanks to the Chinese government, which demands to control the backbones in China. So basically, there's verified entry, and then it'll just import it all. They'll let you announce pretty much any BGP. Of course, stuff like Qmail pretty much blocks all mail out from China by default now. They're getting hacked and owned so much that there's really, you don't want to accept any mail from China or accept anything from China. I mean, how can you do business where anyone's IPs can just be taken over at whim? So this is a great attack, and I hope that some enterprising Chinese hacker turns all of China into a giant routing black hole. Yeah. I mean, this is really what they want to do in America. People like the news corporations and the broadband providers, this is where it's headed. So if we don't start saving our vulnerabilities now and actively practicing attacks on large-scale systems, then we're pretty much going to lose all the freedoms that the internet has given us, and that would suck a lot because I really like the internet. It's a great place. Code Red reference. Where are we now? I'd like to plug the GNAA for a minute. Of course, for those not aware, the Gay Nigger Association of America is a group of internet trolls, and they relentlessly trolled a number of blogs and social networking websites, and they pretty much haven't stopped to this day. They pretty much keep on trolling. I think this is a really effective manner of attacking things because you can fix an individual vulnerability and you can patch it, but you can't patch of authentication features and anonymity. You can't patch, a scaling inadequacy. I think this is, of course, what the GNAA does is innocent and childish and whatever. Yeah. But think about free online tax returns. They don't have a CAPTCHA. Think about all the DMVs that are online these days. I mean, Al Qaeda could learn Perl and hold down so much. It could do way more than WTC. It would be really quite awesome. Yes, they did. They were sole responsible. Trade Center attacks. But of course, GNAA's crowning achievement was a trolling tool called Last Measure, and they would have a single URL on a DNS wildcard, and it would you'd send lots of people there, and it would say hey everybody, I'm looking at gay porno, and show them hideous pornographic images, and flood them with pop-ups, and try to open 1,000 copies of their mail client and stuff like that. but I think this has sort of a great model for exploiting web application and browser vulnerabilities. So another group, they made sort of a last measure for web application exploits, and what it does is it has a flash movie that constantly queries the server, and it launches a bunch of iframes, and there's cross-site scripting attacks in every iframe for every major social networking. And so they sit there, and the flash movie checks if all the cookies have been returned. So it sits there, and it says loading, and the iframes have all been spawned, and they're resolving, all these people's cookies one by one, and then it takes their user agent and, attempts to do zero-day or even old exploits based on the browser's user agent string within that. And then when all the attacks have been tried, it'll finally, show them some stupid flash movie or whatever after they had all their shit stolen and been botnetted. They'll finally be able to, see some stupid shit, from YouTube or something. All right, how much time do we have left? There we go. So you can, if you really want to ravage social networking exploit sites, you can. Nobody ever considered that you could overflow floating points, but someone in the audience here showed me, at least suggested to me that you could a while ago, and if you can't increment except on a couple architectures that were ahead of their time and realized the standard was stupid and screwed things up. But you can't increment floats past their thing. But if you directly overwrite bits within memory, so if you have an existing error that would allow a limited manipulation of memory, you can sit there and you can overflow a float, and then it's back to smashing the stack for fun and profit. So this is stuff, and there's all sorts of stuff that uses image compression math that you can ruin with this. It's on to Mischa now.
Yo, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Stop Disclosing movement. So there's been some shit going down lately. I've been hearing people, they've been going up to security professionals, disclosing vulnerabilities, disclosing exploits, source code. This got to stop. This ain't cool. Any fools, you can't be disclosing vulnerabilities. Basically, that's how it's got to be. So, motherfuckers that be disclosing shit, oh shit, is gonna be fucking shot dead. There's no fucking way around it. See, this is an industry, a way of life. This is people's life. This is how they put bread on the table, and it brings joy to people's lives. And anybody trying to patch vulnerabilities is just they get in the way of that, and that's just not cool. And I think we should put a stop to it. But, disclosing shit, not cool. But talking shit, on the other hand, is definitely cool. Which leads me to the AIM Insulter project. For those of you who aren't familiar, there's this wonderful chat instant message program called AOL Instant Messenger. And there's a few people on it. Some of my friends use it. But most of the people on it are pretty much assholes and dumb. And they need to be insulted. They're also really ugly. So I built this AIM Insulter framework, right? And there's a few parts to it. First off, you gotta find all the users on AIM, and there's plenty of ways to do this. But you gotta enumerate all the users on AIM. You gotta find out all the screen names of the. I don't even know how many million there are now, but there's a lot. There's a few.
Yeah, you can do that via those status icons, right?
Oh yeah, there's tons of ways to get it. Then you have an AIM